But so let's, I guess, kick it off with a visit to a Chinese clinic, which we've talked about before. We have an old video.
I am the queen of the babies, and babies are full of germs. Now, when you're really sick in China, you go to the hospital. Not as an emergency situation, but just like you need to get checked out by a doctor. They don't have doctor's offices or appointments in China. It's just the hospital. We have a lot of experience with the hospital. And I bought these pajamas there, but that's not what I'm going to talk about today. For your regular cold and flu, you can just go to the pharmacy and they'll give you some medicine. I, for years, was taking black and whites, which is what the expats recommend online. Black and whites are made by Bayer, so expats trust them. It's essentially NyQuil and Dayquil in pill form. Chinese people are horrified when I tell them I take those. They think I should not take those. Now, since last April, I've finally got up the courage to go to the actual clinic, which is a step between the pharmacy and the hospital. The pharmacy lately had been sending me away with antibiotics for anything. So now I have a huge doomsday stockpile. Don't tell anybody. But I believe in antibiotic resistance, so I haven't been taking them. Instead, I go see the doctor at the clinic, which is like a super pharmacy with benches in a back room. You wait your turn and the doctor on call comes and checks you out. It's a nice public community feel. There's usually people hanging out, taking the vapor. Which is good for sore throat or other lung ailments. Or lying down on the cot in the back. When I had to get a shot in my butt, I got to go in the back room for a little bit of privacy. But otherwise, you just like do your business out in the main room. The doctor checks you out. She makes up these little packets with pills in them that you're supposed to take at a specific time of day. It's got Chinese medicine and Western medicine in it. Whenever you take Chinese medicine, it's like 1,000 little colored pills. What's up with that? I don't know. And yeah, I don't know what the Chinese medicine does, but I don't know what 𝗖𝗵cie does either. So I'm kind of fine with that.
So I've been going to this clinic for a while. So the clinic is the stage between you want a little more advice than the pharmacy just giving you whatever, and you don't actually want to go to the hospital. And again, for our non-Chinese viewers, going to the hospital is not, it's like that's just where you go to see a doctor.
And the pharmacy is like a dime a dozen. Every other store is a pharmacy.
Yeah, and I mean, I had good luck with them. If I go in with a specific medicine I want, they give that to me. And if I go in with some symptoms, they give me medicine that they think will go for it. But they're not doctors, they're pharmacy.
They're pharmacy.
I think they're pharmacy workers. They're not even pharmacists. There is a pharmacist. That part's like America. But I
like the back of a CVS.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But I'm not sure that all the women who wear coats on the floor are actually trained in pharmacy. I don't know though. To be honest,
if you're from
Luzhou, call in. And they're nice, and usually I'm happy with the medicine I get. But sometimes I like to go to the clinic, which mixes up a little Chinese medicine and Western medicine. And this time I went.
I bet the Chinese pharmacist with the Chinese medicine is a Chinese pharmacist with all the mushrooms and dried roots.
Yeah, I
and
would
stuff
guess
like
that because you can buy Chinese medicine at the pharmacy. I just don't. But yeah, I think that there is a person there trained in like what root does what. But yeah, so I went to our clinic, which is a couple blocks away, and they were all remodeled from the last time I was there. It's all like spacious and now like very clean, and I mean it was clean before, but everything like looks shiny and new. And
They have a new bench, waiting bench.
they do have a new bench. It's a nicer bench. The old bench was like one of those wooden rosin couches, you know. And now they have like a padded place to sit.
Which is important because it becomes a place to hang out a lot of
Yeah,
times.
it takes a long time.
And some people just hang out for fun, some of the old folks.
That's possible. It's a neighborhood hangout. But the thing I like best about the remodel is they've like changed the configuration, so now like the windows in the back let natural light in through the whole area, whereas before it was kind of closed off and like kind of dark. So it's definitely much nicer and brighter.
A back of the street alley kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, now it looks like legit. I don't know. And then, I don't know, I guess they've added on a new doctor. So there was like a woman, a middle age, a little younger than middle age. I don't know. A woman who was, I would not say like a young woman, but not an old woman.
Leave this woman alone.
I'm just, because a young woman sounds like she's like 25, and she's not. She's like, she's a doctor. They've added on a older gentleman, and he is old. He looks like he might be 100. I mean, he's probably only like 60 or 70.
Wait, so he's added on? He wasn't there before?
I've seen him there once before, but like before for all the years I've been going there, I never saw him there. So I'm not sure what the story is, because I also didn't ask. But so he like took care of me, and he like I had no reason to doubt his medical competency, and I'll fully admit this is ageism. But I was like,
right here, you're gonna admit it.
You're so old, man. But like the interview and the examination.
You know, he was 70. But like, what if he was like 130? And you're like,
That's true. Then maybe I do want his advice. But like he asked, I had no reason to doubt that he didn't know what he was doing. This is just me being a horrible human being.
He wasn't standing in a bucket or something.
Yeah. I mean, he asked relevant questions, and then based on those answers, follow-up questions that made sense. And this is what I do like about the clinic as opposed to the hospital, because the hospital is like 40 people are there to see the doctor in 1 hour, and the clinic is much like, okay, you're here, let's go. And so it does feel like kind of a more thorough, like I'm getting more FaceTime with the doctor, you know? And he asked like more detailed questions, so I really feel seen. But so anyway, we do the
He
interview.
was your main doctor? Just one person working on you?
Well, I mean,
like a whole staff.
That's the other thing too, is because the clinic is now 2 doctors, but the other woman was there. So she like knows me. It's not like they're consulting a chart or anything, but like at the hospital, you can schedule your time with, if you know your doctor, the doctor you like works on Thursday, it's not your doctor at the hospital.
Yeah.
You can schedule your appointment for Thursday.
It's up to you to plan around the
Yeah.
doctor's
So it's not like
schedule
you
to
have
get in there.
a GP who like knows your medical history and cares about you. I mean, the caring part might be faked anyway.
But they recognize us.
Yeah,
But that's easy
But I
enough.
think like the neighborhood clinic is like, it's kind of in an old-fashioned way, maybe old-fashioned China and old-fashioned America of like.
Well, you come from a small town. What you know the pharmacist and the clinic walk in, and you kind of go over a few towns.
I don't, but my parents do. Like last time I was home, they got their doctor friend, who's actually the father of someone I went to high school with. So I do know him, but like he knows our family because they all go to him as a doctor.
And your town is about as big as like our neighborhood here, so
Yeah.
Your whole city.
The West Hampton summer population, or winter population, is like a couple thousand, I think. A couple thousand people.
That's our apartment complex.
Yeah. But, so, got the medicine. Felt better after I started taking it. But then this time I was like kind of curious about what I'm actually taking. So I looked up some of the stuff. Some of the stuff's in packets, and then some of the stuff is just like loose pills. But I haven't died yet, and that will be relevant because I found out that one of the packets I'm taking is botanical ephedra, which is in the U.S. was marketed as a diet pill called fen-phen. Do you remember that?
I remember the name fen-phen.
And that was like a big deal when the FDA said it wasn't safe because it causes like heart attacks. It's a stimulant that is also used to treat the flu, the cold and flu. Which I think like Sudafed is
Sudafed?
Yeah, is pseudoephedrine, is chemicalized ephedrine? I don't know. But anyway, so it's a legitimate cold remedy. It's just banned in the United States. And I did feel like after I took it, like, woohoo! Yeah. And like, so that was Thursday I went, and then Friday afternoon, it was a long week of teaching anyway, but Friday afternoon, my manager like asked me a question.
Are you high?
No, he asked me like, do you remember, is there something like I can include in this week's video to tell the parents? And I'm like, I'm so brain dead and I don't remember anything. And I don't know how much of that was being sick, having a extra workload long week, and the uppers I've been taking. I mean, it was only for 2 days. And I think, like, thinking back now, oh, that's why they give you 2 or 3 days medicine at a time. They don't want you to, like, go home and just take this stuff for a week. They do want you to come back in, and, like, if you need more, they'll take a look at you and be like, you don't need more. This is my guess. This is all just my guess from. But as someone in our comments when I was talking about acupuncture pointed out, like, me as the average person, they didn't say it about me, they said it about themselves, but like the average person who is me, I'm not a doctor, I'm not trained in medical science, I don't know what Western medicine does. And in some cases, like, I think especially with pain relief, like, we don't know why Western drugs work the way they do. So it's not as clear cut as like scientific evidence for Western medicine versus like Chinese medicine is all just feelings.
Is it just feelings?
It's not just feelings. I don't know who's claiming that. But yeah, so that's where I'm like, I don't know how any of it works. So I'm willing to, the Chinese medicine, sometimes it makes me feel better, so I'll go with that. And I mean, it is, I guess, a little worrisome that I'm taking something that was banned in the United States. But, you know, American doctors prescribed opiates at the wrong dosage so people will get addicted. Yeah,
and leave gloves in people and sutures.
Yeah, I mean...
people make mistakes.
I don't know.
Come on.
I'm not having any surgery for anything. But yeah, so that was my pharmacy clinic experience. It's always, I mean, the doctor there is just so comforting, and maybe
you've never really come back with any stories that it was upsetting. Like,
yeah, and I think like
at worst it seems to be that maybe nothing happened, and you're like, well, all right, you took like a fistful of pills.
Yeah.
Who knows what they were, but again, you didn't die.
I don't know what's going on, but like I don't know what Sudafed does, and actually I can't buy Sudafed here because you can make meth out of it, so they don't sell it anymore. But yeah, so in all, I recommend my clinic. If you're in the neighborhood, I can introduce you.
Your new old clinic.
Yeah, my new old clinic with its shiny new upstairs. I didn't see upstairs, but now there is an upstairs.
And a 70-year-old downstairs.
And a 70-year-old downstairs who is a competent doctor. And now I think I am going to choose to think of him as 130 and that he's just like very good at his job.
It's like that Dr. Emilykhulme that was like a famous around the world. That is
like the New York
7,000
Times
years
wrote
old.
about him. Yeah, that he's a practitioner of Chinese medicine in this tiny village. I think we
went by the office.
thought about going to see him for something you
but
were
it's
suffering from.
But it's like it's a tourist trap.
Yeah, and there's actually
I mean, he's probably old and he's probably
there's
awarded,
like
but
you can find YouTube documentaries.
Yeah.
I mean, documentaries that are on YouTube, not by YouTube, about this guy, and he's very proud of having been in the New York Times.
Yeah, he's got clippings on the walls and everything. And,
Yeah.
But I think at this point it's more like you can kind of come in and get a picture with him. Like you're not really.
Yeah, he
treated
has
or
become a tourist attraction in himself.
Yeah.
So we didn't go to that doctor.
But you got your own here.
Yeah.
Who is actually a real guy that can do a real job for you. Mm-hmm. So once again, Luzhou wins. Jiang, suck it.